What's up? It's your boy Kevin to turn on this motherfucking YouTube shit. Wow, what the fuck?
What's up? It's your boy Kevin to on YouTube shit. Hey man, say man, we are Let that team man turn to motherfucker, hey. So you're outside, big crip in the gang shit outside shit, man. Free Palestine, free Congo, Russia, do your thing in Texas, stand the fuck up. Each day is a new day, be a better version of yourself. Never let somebody bring down, also back. Never let somebody tell you who you are, but also never put yourself in a position of belong. Let's stay humble, let's get on resolution on this moment. Keep y'all right first. Come to the Black Hebrew Israelite as a real Jew. We out here. Alright, boom. Today, to motherfucker, today, show you outside, big crip in the gang, show you outside shit, man. Turn up. Go. Bruh. Look at this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'm not the biggest YB fan. You know what I'm saying? Some of his music, alright, you know, I'm not the biggest listener of it. But you know, the oracle behind it is kind of crazy. So we got NBA Youngboy, you know, he just got free basically off house arrest, and he got this concert that's going on. So it's going crazy. You think what I'm saying? Fighting, crowds running up on YB, Choppa dissing. You know, YB got a lot of beef that's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? So we only got a little bit of what's going on. But like I said, man, I support anybody who's trying to succeed and win. You know what I'm saying? But we do need to stop the crazy ass violence for stupid shit. You get what I'm saying? So we got the video, man. Hope y'all enjoy it. Let's get into it. Shout out to Rap Daily. So y'all know NBA Youngboy just got free. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a lot of crazy shit, man. It's a lot of beef going on. They call him not Youngboy. He going on a world tour. Man, who knows what's about to happen in this bitch? You know, I ain't the biggest NBA Youngboy fan, but hey, he doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? No hate.
NBA Youngboy's Massa concert tour just took a wild turn in New Orleans. After his concert, Youngboy was seen walking through the streets, surrounded by hundreds of fans screaming his name. But things took an unexpected twist when footage surfaced of him begging his ops.
They took his flag?
So what really went down? Let's break it down. When concerts become chaos. Yo, it's the wee hours of October 20th, 2025, and the streets of downtown New Orleans are about to turn into straight pandemonium, a moment that perfectly captures the wild relationship between one of the game's hottest rappers and his ride-or-die fan base. What kicked off as a triumphant homecoming show for NBA Youngboy was about to flip into a scene of pure, uncut chaos that would spark viral clips, crazy headlines,
man,
and
this
real
shit
questions
getting
about
wild.
what goes down when fan love crosses into dangerous territory. The night had started off smooth as hell. Just hours before, the Smoothie King Center had been going absolutely stupid as Youngboy hit
This
the
shit
stage
getting
for his
crazy,
first
nigga.
Louisiana performance in 7 whole years. This wasn't just another
Yeah,
stop
no,
on
he
the
been
Massa
crazy.
tour, short for Make America Slime Again. This was a straight-up cultural event. Green lights flooded the whole arena. That's his signature color, as he delivered a performance that had the whole crowd rapping every bar, living every second. Tickets had been snatched up quick because of his massive pull and how rare it is to catch him performing in the region. The show wrapped up successfully around midnight, and for a hot minute, it looked like everything had gone down without a hitch. But NBA Youngboy made a move that would quickly spiral into straight madness. After the concert ended, somewhere around 1 to 2 a.m. on Monday, October 20th, which just happened to be his 26th birthday, the rapper decided to take a casual walk through downtown New Orleans. He was rolling with only a small crew of about 8 people, and straight up had no professional security, no bodyguards on deck, no barriers, just Youngboy and his day ones walking through the city that raised him. He started his stroll near the corner of Canal Street and Bourbon Street, spots that's known for that wild nightlife and heavy foot traffic in the French Quarter. Footage captured during this time shows Youngboy dressed low-key in a black jacket and shades, walking confidently along Canal Street at first. The vibe started off pretty chill, with just a few fans pulling up for flicks or shouting out support. But as word spread like wildfire, wildfire, probably blown up by social media posts, and the hype still buzzing from the concert. The crowd started swelling up crazy. What started as just a handful of hype supporters, hundreds of folks converging on his location, creating a thick mob that spilled onto Bourbon Street itself. The whole situation turned chaotic real quick, with fans pushing forward trying to get closer, screaming his name, trying to get at him, leading to a situation where movement became mad restricted for Youngboy and his squad. This is when the New Orleans Police Department officers, who had been strategically posted up in the area because of pre-planned security measures for the concert, responded quick to the developing scene.
They said that nigga banned from New Orleans.
Videos from the scene, including footage captured by Project NOLA cameras and random people's cell phones, show cops forming a protective corridor around Youngboy to shield him from the pressing fans. About 4 to 6 officers are seen grabbing him by the arms, body, and shoulders, physically guiding and sometimes carrying him backward through the crowd to a waiting whip parked nearby. In one major clip, Youngboy appears resistant to the escort, looking reluctant to bounce from the area so abruptly.
They took that nigga flag. They took somebody's flag. I don't see they taking that flag. I don't know who flag that. I don't know if they had one in their hand.
Getting him out safe. The whole intervention only lasted a few minutes, with police successfully moving him through the crowd without any use of force beyond the necessary physical guidance. No straps were pulled. No aggressive tactics were deployed. Youngboy was escorted to the vehicle without incident, marking the end of the brief frenzy. Most importantly, the NOPD later dropped an official statement clarifying that there was no criminal activity involved, no arrests were made, and the situation was purely crowd control to ensure public safety. But New Orleans wasn't a one-off situation. The chaos that night was just the latest chapter in what had become a pattern of disruption following NBA Youngboy wherever his tour rolled through. The Massa Tour, which launched on September 1st, 2025 at the American Airlines Center in Dallas and was scheduled to conclude on November 12th in Seattle, had been plagued by mad security issues, venue cancellations, crowd altercations, and external threats from damn near the jump. The disruptions started early. On September 10th, 2025, during the second stop at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, a straight-up brawl erupted among fans in the stands, just as Youngboy launched into Lonely Child, with videos catching chaotic shoving and punches being thrown amid the packed 20,000-seat venue. The altercation forced brief pauses in the performance as security rushed to intervene, but no one got booked, and the show kept going. Then came Kansas City, where things took an even darker turn. On September 21st, 2025, at T-Mobile Center, a 14-year-old fan allegedly attacked a 66-year-old usher, punching and kicking the staff member in a viral video that showed the teen getting detained by security. The elderly usher would later tell local news about the terrifying moments when he got thrown on his back and repeatedly jumped on.
I told you, bozos, you take your job too damn serious, bro.
Getting him off me. He was so enraged, you know.
Take your job too damn serious, your ass pop, nigga.
The VP of Sales and Marketing dropped a statement emphasizing
know when to hold it, know when to fold them, bitch.
Team members who got first aid on site before hospital treatment. This wasn't just rowdy behavior. This was straight violence that resulted in immediate arrests and calls for stricter age restrictions at future stops. But perhaps the most significant disruption came on September 24th, 2025, when Chicago's United Center straight up canceled the scheduled show just one day before, citing they couldn't guarantee the safety of concert attendees, following intelligence about potential smoke linked to his beef with Chicago-based rapper Lil Durk. Fans who had already entered the arena got turned away, sparking frustration from Youngboy's camp. His manager publicly called out the venue for a last-minute bailout on social media.
When you get the chance
were issued via Ticketmaster
to go around the world and see these concerts, nigga,
policy for the show.
You might die, nigga.
Policy that allows small
niggas dying concerts, nigga.
Whatsoever.
You spending that money on this shit.
Wasn't enough. After a couple days
on motherfucking concerts, nigga.
Just decided to dead the show entirely and not even
your last concert.
You said stop it to shout him out. I'm talking shit, man. So yeah, he's supposed to have a show Chicago United Center. You know, Youngboy was involved with the beef, whatever, with Durk, which led to Von's passing. It's his first time in Chicago since. Of course, they've been all on the internet saying whatever. So the first thing happened, the Chicago Center puts out an update and says, listen, we're doing a zero bag policy at this show. Normally at shows, they have a clear bag policy. The little book bags, little handbag. As long as it's clear, they can see through it. You can bring that bag in. It's like, for this particular show, no bags allowed whatsoever. We're not playing. And then, like, a couple days went by, and the Chicago Center just said, "Yeah, we canceling the show. We're not even doing it." So they deaded the show.
The chaos kept coming. On October 13th, 2025, in Columbia, South Carolina, at the Colonial Life Arena, Youngboy stopped his set mid-performance after a fan kept throwing objects onto the stage, prompting him to address the crowd straight up. "This is a Youngboy show. Don't play with me tonight." Security quickly removed the individual, and the concert resumed after a tense 5-minute pause. To handle these recurring threats, venues and local authorities implemented escalating security protocols across the tour's remaining legs. For the New Orleans shows, NOPD Assistant Superintendent Hans Ganthier announced the deployment of over 400 officers, tactical units, surveillance drones, and armored vehicles throughout the central business district and French Quarter, alongside a strict no-bag policy. Ganthier publicly urged attendees to leave the guns at home, warning about car burglaries if left unattended. Despite the disruptions, totaling at least 4 full cancellations and numerous interventions, the tour kept its momentum, with Youngboy performing in over 30 cities by mid-October. His fan base's loyalty remained absolutely unbreakable, with commentators noting that before anyone could properly assess his impact, they needed to give the man his props and acknowledge just how powerful his connection with fans truly is. But to understand why his concerts attract such intense and sometimes dangerous energy, we need to dive into the man behind the music and the criminal history that shaped both his art and his public persona. A life defined by legal battles. Potential Deshaun Galden didn't choose the circumstances of his birth, but those circumstances would shape everything that came after. Born on October 20th, 1999, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Youngboy grew up in a world where poverty, family dysfunction, and street violence weren't just background noise. They were the everyday reality. He was raised primarily by his maternal grandmother in a cramped Section 8 apartment after his father got locked up for murder, and his mother struggled with addiction. This wasn't the kind of upbringing that sets you up for success. This was the kind of upbringing that tests whether you'll survive at all. Youngboy's criminal history started popping off during his teenage years, rooted in the high-crime environment of Baton Rouge's north side. At just 15 years old in 2015, he caught a case for simple robbery after allegedly participating in a street stick-up, leading to a 6-month bid in juvenile detention. Court records from the time describe a judge viewing the incident as a pivotal moment, with Youngboy later reflecting in interviews that the isolation forced him to confront his budding rap ambitions, channeling fear into lyrics about vulnerability and escape. But that was just the beginning. Released on his 16th birthday, he quickly channeled his experience into viral freestyles. But trouble came back around in 2016 during a stop in Austin, Texas. Police accused him and 3 associates of letting off shots into a crowd from a vehicle in a drive-by, charging all 4 with 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, a potential 40-year stretch under Texas law. The case hinged on witness statements and ballistic evidence linking shell casings to their whip, but Youngboy's defense argued mistaken identity amid the chaos of a rival crew altercation. Ultimately, he copped a plea to reduce charges of aggravated assault with a firearm, receiving a suspended 10-year sentence, 9 months in the county, and 3 years of probation. By 2018, as Youngboy's fame blew up with platinum singles and a signing to Atlantic Records, his personal scandals started dominating headlines. The most infamous incident went down in February that year at a Miami hotel, where surveillance footage caught him in a heated altercation with then-girlfriend Jania Jackson. The video, leaked widely online, shows Youngboy grabbing Jackson by the hair, dragging her across the lobby, and shoving her into an elevator amid shouts of profanity, with her pleading for him to stop. The footage sparked immediate backlash, with advocates calling it out as emblematic of toxic masculinity in hip-hop. Prosecutors hit Youngboy with battery, simple assault, and false imprisonment charges. He posted $75,000 bail after 1 month in custody, and the case resolved with anger management classes and probation. The federal escalation that would consume the next 5 years of his life kicked off in late 2020. On September 29, 2020, in Baton Rouge, police pulled over a vehicle carrying Youngboy and 14 associates, discovering 2 AR-15 style rifles, a handgun, and over 100 rounds of ammunition. items illegal for him as a convicted felon. Authorities labeled the group as members of the NBA street gang, citing tattoos, jewelry, and intercepted communications, referencing violent turf disputes. Youngboy got indicted on federal counts of possessing unregistered firearms and being a felon in possession, facing up to 10 years, but his arrest warrant went ignored as he bounced to Los Angeles. The FBI's dramatic March 22nd, 2021 takedown, a high-speed chase ending in a SWAT standoff, led to additional state charges. Court filings revealed the Bureau's internal code name for the investigation, Operation Never Free Again, a pointed jab at his Never Broke Again moniker that his lawyers called out as prejudicial branding, arguing it showed evidence of a vendetta against his success. Transferred to house arrest in Utah in 2021 as part of a plea deal, Youngboy kept releasing music remotely, but violations kept stacking. In April 2024, while under electronic monitoring in his Huntsville mansion, he got implicated as the ringleader of a sprawling prescription drug fraud operation. Cache County Sheriff's Office affidavits detail how Youngboy allegedly impersonated doctors over the phone to pharmacies statewide, ordering fake scripts for promethazine with codeine using stolen identities and forged documents. The scheme involved up to 20 accomplices and netted thousands of bottles funneled to his crib for distribution. When authorities finally moved in to arrest him in Utah, where he'd been serving strict house arrest, they hit him with a staggering array of charges that would shock even his most loyal supporters.
NBA Youngboy has been arrested in Utah, where he has been serving strict house arrest during legal proceedings. According to jail records from the Cache County Sheriff's Office, the 24-year-old was booked on several charges Tuesday morning.
Initially hit with 63 felonies, including identity fraud, forgery, and unlawful pharmacy conduct, he copped a plea in November 2024 to 10 counts, receiving a concurrent sentence with his federal gun case. The charges included forgery, identity fraud,
so that's what helped him get off a drug, his house arrest?
Procuring drugs and prescriptions, possession of controlled substances, and possession of a dangerous weapon by a restricted person. The severity and variety of these charges had people questioning what exactly he'd been doing while supposedly under house arrest, with many noting that he'd been openly posting about drug use on social media for nearly 2 years while confined to what he'd nicknamed Gravedigger Mountain.
Forgery.
Damn.
Identity fraud.
They're really on his
What the are you up there doing?
An attorney representing Youngboy issued a statement saying, in part, everyone is presumed innocent and he has falsely been accused in the past.
Look, Russ.
Man, you've been posting drugs on house arrest for about 2 years, so.
Yeah.
We all been seeing. Laying on the floor.
Identity fraud is crazy.
The gun charges culminated in a December 2024 Utah federal sentencing, where the judge handed down 23 months for the 2020 firearms violations, crediting time served and mandating substance abuse treatment and mental health evaluations. Additional Weber County charges for weapons possession and drug paraphernalia got folded in, pushing his total exposure to over 66 counts before pleas reduced them. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Released early to a halfway house in March 2025 due to good behavior and overcrowding, his freedom was overshadowed by a 2025 presidential pardon from Donald Trump, one of dozens issued in a clemency wave. The pardon, covering the Utah gun conviction, was praised by supporters as restorative justice for a black artist targeted by overzealous prosecution, but criticized by victims' advocates as leniency for a gang leader. By July 2025, a revised plea adjusted his full release to July 27th, allowing the Massa Tour launch, but probation stipulations like travel restrictions and no contact orders with alleged co-conspirators continue to loom over him. What's remarkable about the Chicago show cancellation is that despite the venue pulling the plug, Youngboy's team still got their bag for the performance they never gave. The economics of the situation reveal just how seriously venues take their contractual obligations and how much bread is at stake in this tour. According to industry insiders, when the United Center called 2 days before the show to cancel, Youngboy's trucks were already there. They were ready to go, they had fans ready to attend, and his team made it clear they weren't coming to Chicago for war. They were coming to perform for their fans.
They got paid for it. Like, I talked to this man. They got paid for that show and then perform? Of course. Wow. Because they didn't cancel it. Right. So, they kind of broke it down to me. They said, listen, 2 days before, our trucks are there. We're ready to go. We got fans there. We're not like, what we think we coming here to war? No, we coming here to perform. We got fans. We love our fans. We're not going, it's not a war zone. So they wanted to have a good show. The United Center called them
Hey, listen, we're gonna have to cancel this. Through it all, Youngboy's response has been prolific output, over 100 songs released during house arrest alone, and introspective admissions and tracks where he grapples with regret over violence's toll on his family. His legal troubles haven't just shaped his biography, they've become the very substance of his artistry, the raw material he transforms into music that resonates with millions. With this troubled history as context, it becomes clear that NBA Youngboy isn't just another rapper with legal problems. He's an artist whose entire identity has been forged in the fire of struggle, and that authenticity is exactly what draws millions of fans to his music. The power of pain, how struggle became stardom. There's something almost paradoxical about NBA Youngboy's come-up. Here's an artist who spent more time fighting legal battles than promoting albums, who's performed more frequently from house arrest than from traditional studios, and whose music videos are more likely to be filmed in makeshift home setups than on elaborate sets. Yet somehow, this 26-year-old from Baton Rouge has become one of the most streamed artists in hip-hop history, boasting over 15 billion YouTube views and billions of Spotify streams. The secret to understanding Youngboy's meteoric rise isn't found in traditional music industry playbooks. It's found in the raw, unfiltered realness that permeates every aspect of his artistry. His musical style is a visceral distillation of Southern hip-hop's evolution, forged in the humid, high-tension streets of Baton Rouge, where he was raised in a cramped Section 8 apartment. At age 11, he discovered rap through YouTube tutorials, using a cheap $200 microphone plugged into his grandmother's old computer to record his first verses in her living room. This DIY ethos, raw, unpolished, and deeply personal, defines his sound. A hybrid of trap's booming 808s and hi-hats, melodic auto-tune croons reminiscent of early 2010's New Orleans bounce, and aggressive staccato flows that shift unpredictably from introspective whispers to barked threats. His production choices favor sparse, haunting beats with piano loops and eerie synths that mirror the emotional isolation in his lyrics, creating anthems that feel like late-night confessions rather than club bangers. From those humble origins, Youngboy's output exploded into one of rap's most prolific catalogs, with over 26 albums, mixtapes, and EPs released since 2015. His early mixtapes were grassroots affairs uploaded to SoundCloud and DatPiff, blending local influences to build a fervent Baton Rouge following. By 2017's AI Youngboy, his major label debut under Atlantic Records, he had refined his formula, double-time flows over trap snares, juxtaposed with melodic hooks that would peak on the Billboard Hot 100. But what truly sets Youngboy apart isn't just his technical skill or prolific output, it's his lyrical preoccupation with duality, glorifying the grind of street life while dissecting its soul-crushing toll. His verses often paint vivid vignettes of aspiration, clashing with peril in tracks where he spits about stolen whips, hammers, and pipe dreams of millions, weaving tales of rags to riches that double as survival manuals. This glorification isn't blind. Songs pivot to paranoia and isolation, capturing the fear of fame's crosshairs with bars inspired by real threats from beefs and arrests. The generational impact of his music cannot be overstated. There's a way that the younger generation views NBA Youngboy that mirrors how previous generations viewed legends like Lil Wayne or even Tupac. He's not just a rapper to them, he's a symbol of survival, authenticity, and unbreakable spirit. They don't just vibe to his music, they would literally ride for him with their lives, treating him as something more than an artist, almost like a prophet speaking their truth.
It ain't just the shows. That's what me and you had this argument a long time ago. No, I mean, Zaire was up here too. But, yo, they look like the way the generation after us looked at Wayne.
Zaire compared him to Tupac, and
is how they look at Youngboy though.
I get it.
He's that nigga. Like, they would die for this nigga for real.
The impact on his fan base is seismic. His 10 million plus YouTube subscribers, predominantly 13 to 24-year-olds from the South and Midwest, dissect lyrics in comment sections like scripture. Fans tattoo 4KT, his crew's acronym, as badges of solidarity, and his green slime aesthetic has spawned a $50 million merch empire, from hoodies to energy drinks, turning concerts into fashion runways where attendees mirror his energy. Throughout the Massa Tour, this manifests in ritualistic call and responses, like the arena-wide slime chants during Make No Sense, creating communal exorcisms of pain. In New Orleans on October 19th, fans paused mid-swarm to harmonize Lonely Child, a moment of vulnerability amid chaos that videos captured as transcendent. These aren't just concerts, they're spiritual experiences for young people who see their own struggles reflected in Youngboy's lyrics about poverty, betrayal, and resilience. The demographic realities of Youngboy's fanbase reveal why his shows attract such intense energy. His appeal to Gen Z and younger millennials, many under 18, brings a volatile mix of unfiltered passion and impulsivity to venues. This loyalty manifests in sold-out arenas across the Massa Tour, where fans arrive hours early, transforming parking lots into pre-game tailgates, complete with green and black
Motherfuckers ready to die
merchandise
at a Youngboy concert. They said they gonna die for anything. Better be a Youngboy concert. Hit
a philosophy Youngboy has championed since his 2017 mixtape series, which celebrates breaking cycles of generational poverty through hustle, family loyalty, and unapologetic self-expression. But the intensity of these shows can be overwhelming. After one person attended the Los Angeles show and experienced the crowd's energy firsthand, they immediately hit up their homie with urgency in their voice, insisting that they absolutely had to go to a Youngboy show. But when their homie peeped video footage of what the crowd actually looked like, the sheer chaos, the bodies pressed together, the uncontrolled energy, they had a very different reaction, describing it as looking like literal hell on earth.
I got a phone call after his LA show. Nigga, this is how the conversation started, swear to God. Nigga, you gotta go to Youngboy show. And I'm like, I planned on going, but then I saw the video of the crowd, and I said, that looks like literal hell.
Amid the turbulence, positive interactions
die at that bitch.
profound,
I ain't gonna cap, man, you might die.
to fandom's core. Throughout the Massa Tour, Youngboy has paused mid-set multiple times to de-escalate fights.
Nigga, you might die in that bitch going to a Youngboy concert.
He killed the lights and
Nigga,
addressed the
hell
arena.
no.
We family here.
I didn't work my whole life.
Music, not
Make
each other.
some money out to go die at a Youngboy concert. You got me
fans
fucked up.
later credited with saving the night. In Houston, he invited a young mother on stage for a birthday shout-out, gifting her $5,000 from a stack of cash pulled from his pocket, a recurring motif drawn from his never broke again philanthropy. The production value of the tour has also surprised many who expected a more bare-bones performance. When skeptics assumed Youngboy would just walk back and forth on stage without much effort, they were proven dramatically wrong. He's actually putting on a full-scale production with all the visual effects, pyrotechnics, and stage design you'd want to see at a major concert. And the set list is extensive. He's not shortchanging fans on the music either, going through his entire catalog and making sure everyone gets their money's worth.
So I told him, I'm like, nah. He was like, yo, I'll get y'all riser tickets. Riser, you not in the crowd, you're not in the midst of that. I'll get y'all on the riser if you want to with it. I'm like, all right, bet. And he was like, yo, this show, the energy, he was like, yo, he's putting on a real production. Because my man was like, yo, I ain't gonna lie. When I went, the first thing I said was, oh, he gonna be up here stealing money. Basically, walking back and forth, no screens. He was like, no, it's a full-on, he's put on a show, like effects. All the you want to see at a concert, he's doing.
These moments, amplified by the tour's cinematic production, coffin entrances, pyrotechnic house crumbles, and dancers in military fatigues, create immersive experiences that one critic described as carnivals of distrust turned triumphant, where the overwhelming 40-song set list leaves no one bored, with fans from teens to young adults standing on seats in ecstatic solidarity. Even cancellations haven't dampened spirits. When the second Atlanta date got axed, fans pivoted to an impromptu outdoor rave outside Mercedes-Benz Stadium, complete with Bluetooth speakers blasting Make No Sense, fireworks, and light shows, turning disappointment into defiance. In New Orleans, the pre-concert lot was buzzing with tailgates, where families grilled and shared stories of how tracks like Sincerely Kentro got them through tough times. This resilience mirrors the brand's symbols, chains not just as flexes, but anchors of survival, dances as coded affirmations of joy and struggle. By October 21st, 2025, with over 30 dates completed, the Massa Tour has grossed millions, while spotlighting a fandom that's as much a movement as a market, passionate, problematic, profoundly connected, proving Youngboy's influence extends far beyond the stage, shaping behaviors that oscillate between riot and revelation. His music doesn't just entertain, it provides a voice for the voiceless, a soundtrack for survival, and proof that even from the darkest circumstances, stardom and redemption remain possible. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video,
shout out to Rap Threads. This the NLE Choppa and Youngboy beef.
NLE Choppa, aka the suburban goofy rapper, just dropped a full song dedicated to the GOAT NBA Youngboy, and NBA Youngboy just responded to this two-pack wannabe goofy. And the wildest part, Choppa used to be YB's biggest fan gang. But this ain't just about a diss track. This is about backdoor vibes, hypocrisy, and a desperate grab for relevance that could backfire in ways Choppa never expected. Like bro doesn't know all it takes is one call from YB, and it'll get NLE packed up and sent up. Here's the crazy part that makes this whole situation cut deeper than any regular beef. NLE Choppa used to worship NBA Youngboy, no cap. Go back to 2018, 2019, Choppa was copying everything. Same haircut with the dreads, same aggressive flow and delivery, same Louisiana-style energy, even though he from Memphis gang. He said in multiple interviews that YB was his favorite rapper and he wanted to collab with him, fam. In one interview from early 2019, Choppa straight up said, "That's my favorite artist right there. I need a song with him," type shit. He was studying YB's music religiously, trying to capture that same raw emotion and street authenticity that made YB blow up in the first place, for real. You could see it in his early videos, the camera angles, the energy, the whole aesthetic was borrowed straight from NBA Youngboy's playbook, homie. Shorty even made a song called Free YB when NBA Youngboy was locked up in 2018, gang. That's how deep the fandom was. He was publicly supporting him during his legal troubles, riding for him when a lot of other artists wouldn't touch him because of the controversy surrounding his cases. No cap. That song wasn't just a throwaway either, fam. Choppa was really trying to show solidarity with YB during a difficult time type timing. But it gets even deeper than that, homie. People who were around Choppa back then say he used to study YB's interviews, practice his mannerisms, and even tried to adopt some of his slang and speaking patterns, gang. This wasn't casual admiration. This was full-on obsession with becoming the next version of NBA Youngboy, for real. This ain't regular beef between two artists who never liked each other. No cap. This is a former fanboy turned op, which makes it way more personal, fam. It's like watching your little brother, who used to follow you everywhere, copy everything you did, worship the ground you walked on, suddenly turn around and try to fight you, gang. The betrayal hits different when it comes from somebody who used to look up to you, who you probably would have helped if they asked, type shit. And this pattern ain't new in hip-hop, for real. We've seen it before with other beefs, where the person going the hardest used to be the biggest fan, homie. There's something psychological about it, like they gotta overcompensate and go extra hard to prove they not riding no more, to prove they own man now, gang. It's like they embarrassed about how much they used to dick ride, so they flip completely to the other side to distance themselves from that image. No cap. How the beef started.
Yeah, how it started?
Youngboy, my favorite rapper. I'm trying to be with Youngboy. You my favorite rapper.
2019, the Instagram Live incident. Choppa was on Instagram Live just vibing, or so it seemed, when his homies in the background started calling YB fake and saying he ain't bout that life, gang. They was being real disrespectful, questioning his street credibility, saying he just an industry plant who ain't really live what he rap about, fam. And Choppa, he just sat there not checking them, not defending YB, just letting it happen while he smiled and laughed, no cap. Now Choppa tried to play it off afterwards like he wasn't co-signing what they said, like he couldn't control what his homies were saying in the background type shit. But here's the thing, homie. When you on your Instagram Live with your platform and your audience and your people start dissing somebody you publicly claim to be a fan of, that's on you, gang. You responsible for who you around and what energy you let fly on your platform, for real. The optics were terrible, fam. Here's somebody who literally made a free YB song, who claimed YB was his favorite rapper, who modeled his whole style after him, now sitting there while his boys tear him down and not saying a word to stop it, no cap. That's when a lot of people, especially YB fans, started seeing Choppa different type timing. YB fans immediately flooded Choppa's comments calling him fake, disloyal, snake behavior, pussy, all that, gang. They was asking him why he didn't defend YB.
Youngboy, no type of loyalty, nigga. That nigga didn't put
disrespect somebody he supposedly looked up to, for real. And instead of clearing the air, apologizing, or explaining the situation, Choppa just stayed quiet.
Nigga, if somebody step on you and spit on you, nigga, you gonna be their friend or you gonna pop your shit?
Quiet.
You be best friends with a nigga. But this some beef, nigga. I don't give a fuck.
The Fredo Bang connection. Then Shorty started making moves that made everything worse and showed where his loyalty really was. Gang. Choppa started hanging with Fredo Bang, who's YB's main op from Baton Rouge, homie. And this ain't just casual beef, fam. Fredo and YB have been enemies for years over serious street shit, over G-Money's death, over territory and respect in Baton Rouge type shit. This is deep-rooted hatred that's led to multiple deaths on both sides, no cap. So for Choppa to link up with Fredo after the Instagram live situation, that wasn't an accident, gang. That wasn't just two artists from different cities collaborating for real. That was NLE Choppa making a deliberate choice to align himself with NBA Youngboy's enemy, knowing exactly what message that would send to YB and his fans, homie. They didn't just hang out and take pictures either, fam. NLE Choppa and Fredo Bang made a whole song together called Gangster Talk, where they was throwing subliminals at NBA Youngboy throughout the track. Type timing. The lyrics had references to situations and beef that anybody following the Baton Rouge scene would recognize as shots at YB. Gang. That officially crossed the line. You can't say you were just an innocent bystander when your homies was dissing YB on your live, but then you go make music with his op where y'all both taking shots at him. No cap. At this point, people started realizing this wasn't just about some offhand comments on Instagram Live, for real. Choppa was making calculated moves to position himself against YB, probably thinking it would give him street credibility or help his career in some way, homie. The ex-girl situation. But the real disrespect, the move that took this from rap beef to personal vendetta, came when Choppa started dating YB's ex-girl, Gang. Now, I ain't gonna say her name because that ain't the main point and she don't need to be dragged into this more than she already is, fam. But in street code and in hip-hop culture, going after your idol's ex is a violation of the highest order type shit. This wasn't even a girl from years ago that everybody moved on from, no cap. This was recent enough that it felt intentional, like Choppa was deliberately trying to get under YB's skin to prove some kind of point game. And Choppa wasn't trying to keep it low-key either, for real. He was posting her on social media, making it public, really rubbing it in YB's face like, look what I got now, type timing. For somebody who used to worship YB to go and mess with his ex like that, that's not just disrespectful to YB, homie. That's disrespectful to yourself, to your own history, to everything you claim to stand for when you were riding your hit, fam. It showed that Choppa's loyalty was never real to begin with, that he was always looking for ways to use YB's name, and now he found a new way to do it, gang. Sided with OTF. Then when King Von died in November 2020 and all that Dirk versus YB beef was at its absolute peak, when tensions were higher than they'd ever been, NLE Choppa made his position crystal clear, no cap. He sided with Lil Durk and the OTF crew, publicly and loudly, fam. Choppa was posting "Rest in Peace King Von," showing love to Durk in the comments, interacting with OTF members on social media, basically aligning himself with YB's enemies again during one of the most tense and dangerous periods in that whole beef gang. This wasn't just rap politics. People were really dying, the feds were really watching, and Choppa decided that was the time to make his allegiance known, for real. And let's be clear about the context, homie. The Dirk versus YB situation was, and still is, serious as hell type shit. This ain't just two rappers making diss songs. This is years of actual violence, death, federal investigations, RICO charges, all that, fam. So for Choppa to inject himself into that situation by picking a side, that was dangerous and stupid on multiple levels, gang. At this point, it was crystal clear to everybody paying attention. Choppa wasn't accidentally beefing with YB. No cap. He was intentionally choosing to be on the other side, making moves that he knew would be seen as ultimate disrespect, probably trying to gain favor with the industry side that was against YB, or trying to prove to the streets that he wasn't a YB dick rider anymore. For real. That's when NBA Youngboy had enough, fam. YB dropped I Know and went full demon mode on NLE Choppa, threatening his whole family, talking about catching bodies, making it crystal clear this ain't just rap beef anymore. This is street shit with real consequences, gang. The bars were so vicious, so personal, so threatening that even hardcore fans was like, damn, he really hate this man. No cap. YB wasn't playing no games, wasn't doing subtle subliminals, wasn't leaving room for interpretation, type timing. He addressed Choppa directly and made real threats about real violence, for real. And you could hear the betrayal in YB's voice and lyrics.
What if you were
Betrayal in YB's voice and lyrics, homie. This wasn't just anger at an op. This was the hurt of being backstabbed by somebody who used to claim to be your biggest fan, gang. Think about it from YB's perspective, fam. Here's somebody who you probably would have worked with if they came correct, who you probably had some level of respect for because they showed you love publicly, and now they doing songs with your enemies, dating your ex, siding with people who want you dead type shit. That betrayal probably hit YB harder than just regular op beef, no cap. When your enemies hate you, that's expected. That's part of the game, for real. But when somebody who claimed to love you turns on you, that's a different kind of pain, and you could hear it in how viciously YB went at Choppa in that song, homie. The KO diss track.
This nitty gritty.
Fast forward to 2025, and we got this KO situation, fam. NLE Choppa drops a diss track at NBA Youngboy, but with a twist that nobody really expected. Shorty came with this whole conscious rapper angle instead of traditional street threats, gang. Now, for context, and this is important to understand where Choppa's head at. Around 2020 to 2021, Choppa went through this whole spiritual transformation that he'd been promoting heavy ever since, no cap. He stopped rapping about violence, stopped claiming gang shit, started talking about meditation, veganism, positive energy, spiritual awakening, healing crystals, all that new age type stuff, for real. He literally rebranded himself from a young, aggressive street rapper to a conscious, woke, spiritual guide trying to help people elevate their consciousness. Homie, changed his whole image, his message, even his sound to some degree, type timing. So when people heard he was dropping a diss track at YB, there was confusion about how he would approach it given his new persona, gang, and KO delivered on that confusion, fam. Instead of coming with the typical diss track formula, threatening violence, questioning somebody's money or street credibility, talking about who tougher, Choppa came with this conscious diss, where he's trying to position himself as enlightened and YB as lost, no cap. Choppa questioned whether YB really lives what he raps about, suggesting that he's just holding on to an image and a persona for his music instead of being genuine, gang. He implied that YB is performing a character rather than being his authentic self, that he's trapped in this violent, destructive persona because it sells records, not because it's really who he is, fam. This is actually one of the most disrespectful angles Choppa could take for real. YB's whole brand, his whole career, his whole identity in hip-hop is built on authenticity, on being one of the realest artists who actually lived everything he talks about in his music, homie. So for Choppa to question, that is attacking the very foundation of YB's artistry type shit. But here's where it gets ironic, gang. NLE Choppa is the one who used to copy YB, who used to model his whole style after him, who used to try to be YB 2.0, no cap. So for him to now call YB inauthentic, that's some serious projection right there, fam. This is where Choppa really leaned into his conscious rapper persona, homie. He said YB has nothing positive to contribute to hip-hop and is a bad influence on young people who listen to his music, that YB's content is leading kids down a path of violence, crime, and self-destruction. Choppa positioned himself as trying to uplift the youth and bring positive messages while painting YB as this toxic force that's destroying young black lives through his music. Type timing. He basically said YB's music is the reason kids are out here killing each other, going to prison, dying young, all that.
I wasn't just blaming on YB,
this
but
accusation is heavy, no cap. Because Choppa is essentially blaming YB for systemic problems in black communities, for violence that exists for complex social and economic reasons, and putting it all on one artist's shoulders, for real. That's not just a diss. That's trying to make YB responsible for the trauma and violence in entire communities, gang. But the hypocrisy here is wild, homie. Choppa was rapping about the exact same violent content just a few years ago, fam. Songs like Shotta Flow and Camelot were full of gun talk, murder references, gang affiliations, all the same content he's now criticizing YB for, type shit. Building on the last point, Choppa specifically called out YB for promoting violence and negative behavior that leads kids to death or prison, for real. He said YB's music glorifies a lifestyle that ends with young black men in graves or cells, and that YB has blood on his hands for every kid who listened to his music and went out and did something stupid, homie. The problem with this angle is that it ignores the reality of what YB's music actually represents to his fans. No cap. For millions of young people, especially young black men from similar environments, YB's music isn't leading them to violence. It's giving voice to the violence and pain they already experiencing. Fam Choppa implied that YB uses other people to do things he wouldn't do himself, that he's not really about that life he portrays, that he's got people around him handling his dirty work while he stays clean and collects checks, gang. This is especially problematic coming from Choppa because YB's street credibility is documented and well known. Fam, YB has been in shootouts, been shot himself, lost close friends and family to violence, been through the system multiple times, no cap, called him emotional. Choppa suggested that YB makes decisions based on emotions instead of logic, that he's reactive and hot-headed rather than calculated and smart, that he's controlled by his feelings instead of thinking things through, homie. In street terms and hip-hop culture, calling somebody emotional is basically calling them weak, saying they can't control themselves, that they move off feelings instead of strategy, gang. The video for KO is where Choppa really doubled down on his conscious warrior approach, fam. The video featured a YB lookalike, same dreads, same style, same aesthetic, everything designed to make it obvious who he's talking about, gang. The most memorable scene is when Choppa snatches a cigarette out of the fake YB's mouth in this dramatic slow motion moment. Type timing. In Choppa's mind, this is supposed to symbolize him trying to wake up NBA Youngboy, trying to get him to stop destroying himself with his negative lifestyle, trying to guide him toward a better path, homie. The video featured heavy symbolic imagery, light versus darkness, Choppa in bright environments, fake YB in dark spaces, consciousness versus ignorance, Choppa meditating and reading, fake YB surrounded by chaos. Choppa went all in on this spiritual warrior trying to save a lost soul vibe, for real. The whole aesthetic was less, I'm gonna get you, and more, I'm trying to help you see the light, no cap. The hypocrisy, nobody talking about. Here's the elephant in the room, fam. The hypocrisy in NLE Choppa's entire approach, gang. Choppa has been preaching for years about positivity, consciousness, spreading good energy, and leaving beef behind, right? He talks constantly about meditation, veganism, healing trauma through spiritual practices, about how violence and negativity are lower vibrations we need to evolve past. No cap. So with all of that messaging, with all of that supposed spiritual evolution, homie, he drops a diss track going at somebody's neck. How is that positive energy, gang? How is making a song attacking another artist's consciousness, fam? If you really about peace and unity like you claim, why engage in beef at all type shit? Why not just focus on your message and let YB do his thing?
Youngboy already said
felt the need
the music industry is evil, bitch. He already said it.
He's been preaching.
Youngboy already know his shit is evil.
NBA Youngboy
You know what I'm saying? He already know his shit is
thinking about
evil.
NLE Choppa lately, homie. YB is one of the biggest artists in hip-hop with billions of streams, making millions, dealing with legal issues, taking care of his kids, gang. He ain't losing sleep over what Choppa doing for real. This whole I'm trying to wake you up and save you angle feels less like genuine concern and more like Choppa trying to get YB's attention and insert himself back into relevancy. Fam. It's giving notice me energy dressed up in spiritual clothing type timing. Think about it. Dissing NBA Youngboy is gonna get Choppa more attention and streams than anything else he could drop right now, gang. YB's name carries weight. His fan base is massive and will discuss anybody who goes at him. No cap. That's free promotion that money can't buy. And Choppa's team knows this, for real. So even though Choppa using this conscious approach, it still feels like a strategic clout move at its core, homie. Yeah. The packaging is different, but the motivation seems the same. Get attention by going at a bigger name, gang. Based on YB's history, here's what could happen. He ignores it completely. YB been on a wave lately where he don't engage with everybody who mentions his name, gang. He might look at Choppa as beneath him and not worth the energy. No cap. YB's got bigger concerns. Legal battles, music releases, business ventures, his family. For real. Wasting time on NLE Choppa might not even register as important enough to address, homie. If YB responds, it won't be conscious or spiritual, fam. It's gonna be murder references, threats, that raw street energy he's known for, and it'll be brutal, gang. When YB feels disrespected, he don't hold back.
I feel like they both got enough money on to protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day.
No cap. Sometimes YB addresses stuff through Instagram captions or interviews without making a whole song type timing. He might drop some cryptic posts, some bars in his next freestyle, some comments that let everybody know he ain't worried about Choppa, but also ain't letting the disrespect slide completely for real. YB's got one of the most dedicated fan bases in hip-hop, homie. They already tearing Choppa apart in comments since KO dropped, gang. YB might just sit back and let his fans do the work, which is actually more powerful in some ways because it shows he don't even need to respond personally. His supporters got his back regardless, fam. My prediction? YB probably won't respond directly with a full diss track, no cap. He's been moving different lately, more focused on his career and legal situation than engaging in every beef that comes his way, type shit. But we'll probably hear some subliminal shots in his next songs, bars that Choppa and fans will know are about him without YB saying his name directly, for real. And honestly, not responding directly might be more disrespectful, gang. It's basically saying, you're not important enough for me to waste a song on, which cuts deeper than any bars could, homie. That I don't even think about you energy sometimes hurts more than direct threats, fam. The bigger picture. On one side, you got NBA Youngboy representing raw, authentic street rap that don't apologize for being dark and violent, gang. His music is real, a reflection of life in America's poorest neighborhoods, experiences that millions relate to, no cap. On the other side, NLE Choppa represents conscious rap trying to bring positivity back to hip-hop, fam. He's saying we need more balance, more uplifting messages instead of just violence and materialism. For
what's wrong with that?
Both perspectives have validity, homie. Hip-hop needs artists like YB who keep it real and don't sugarcoat harsh realities, gang. But hip-hop also needs conscious artists promoting positive messages, no cap. The problem is when either side acts like their way is the only right way type shit. When Choppa disses YB for making negative music, he's dismissing the experiences and realities that YB is expressing. Fam, hip-hop is big enough for both lanes to exist, for real. So what y'all think? Is NLE Choppa really trying to help the culture? Or is this just a clout move by going at one of the biggest names in hip-hop, gang? Should YB respond, and if so, how? Demon mode or ignore it completely? Drop your thoughts in the comments, fam. And what about this conscious diss track approach? Is that the future of hip-hop beef, or is it contradictory to everything Choppa claims to stand for? No cap. One thing for sure, this beef got the whole community talking, and we're gonna keep y'all updated on any developments, for real. If YB responds, if Choppa says something else, we'll be here breaking it all down, gang.
Shout out to hip hop media. NBA Youngboy has a massive target on his back. That's a bad.
Youngboy beat his case and kicked off a crazy tour, but he's got ops in every city who want to take him out. People are getting jumped, shows are getting canceled, and even an army of police hasn't been able to stop the drama from kicking off. And today, we're breaking down why NBA Youngboy has a massive target on his back and things are getting deadly. Everyone knew that Youngboy was one of the hottest rappers in the world, but he was locked up in jail, placed under house arrest, and in prison for years and couldn't tour at all. But now, he's finally free, and it's causing all kinds of drama in the rap game. After Youngboy announced the tour, his team had to add even more shows to the calendar because tickets were selling out so fast. Youngboy definitely had a lot of fans who wanted to come out and support him, but he's also got a huge target on his back, and a lot of cities are worried about the situation popping off. Youngboy was supposed to have a show in Chicago at the United Center. When fans found out that Youngboy was going to be in Chicago, a lot of people thought it might be a bad idea. Youngboy's got a ton of beef in the city, and it all started when King Von and Youngboy sparked some drama back in 2020. After Von got killed, dudes from O Block were burning 4K trade flags and made it clear that Youngboy should stay out of Chirac. Youngboy wasn't going back down though. He's been dissing Von and O Block at every show because he ends the concerts with the track I Hate Youngboy, where he raps, "How you talking shit when nothing ain't died about your cousin now? Quando got no filter, and he say that. They ain't gon' fuck with him. Clean up on IO. Youngin let that chop blow, and my brother let that stick blow." Youngboy wanted to show up in Chicago to prove he won the beef, but then United Center stepped in and canceled the show. According to rumors, the United Center said Youngboy could do the show as long as he didn't play I Hate Youngboy. But Youngboy said he wasn't going to change the set list, so they called the concert off. Crashing out at the United Center would have been crazy, but some young dudes from O-Block said they were going to shoot up the concert if Youngboy came to Chicago. And when Youngboy was in New Jersey, a Lil Durk fan showed up to the concert and said free Durk. According to rumors, some of OG3's homies were walking right behind the Durk fan, and one of them punched the Durk fan in the head. Then another one of OG3's homies jumped in and put hands on the Durk fan. And according to the Durk fan, they gave him a wristband so he can go backstage at the concert. Then when he went back there, he got jumped again by even more dudes. Youngboy hasn't dropped any new disses on Lil Durk for a while, but he was allegedly fighting OTF fans while he was locked up. According to Birdman's brother, Terrence Gangsta Williams, Youngboy knocked a dude out in prison who was repping OTF.
It was a guy from Mississippi, he yelled out OTF. Youngboy said, "Would you OTF?" Youngboy told him, "I'm trying to get with that. Find a cell." He said he went to the cell, Youngboy hit him with a 2P, dropped him.
A couple weeks after Youngboy's Chicago show got canceled, his concert in Detroit got shut down at the last minute too. Youngboy had sold out the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, but a few days before he came to the city, the arena put out a statement and said the show wasn't going to happen. They didn't give any reason why the show was canceled, but that wasn't the only time Youngboy had drama with Detroit. Back in 2020, a rapper from Detroit was in the mall and ran into Youngboy's brother OG3 in Houston. It's not clear exactly what went down, but Sada Baby posted a video about it and dissed the whole NBA crew.
Niggas quit playing with me around this bitch, nigga. We ain't nowhere near Detroit. We down here in they shit, and niggas hoes. Fuck is you talking about? And I'm on Tay-Tay phone because my phone dead. Fuck is you talking about? NBA niggas ain't on shit down to this bitch, nigga. Fuck niggas talking about? Nigga, I'm from Detroit. I ain't moved down to this bitch, nigga. Caught your big homie lacking in the mall. He trying to speak to niggas. What's up with all that big stepper shit, Slam? Fuck is you talking about? Soft ass niggas.
Sada Baby's also cool with Fredo Bang and some of Youngboy's other ops in Baton Rouge. And rumors say he just started hating on Youngboy because of them. After Sada Baby dissed Youngboy and his crew, a dude from FBG named Baba allegedly caught Sada Baby lacking at a studio in Atlanta and robbed him. Then Youngboy dropped the track Carter's Son and raps, "I can't say I'm fucking with all this involvement. These niggas ain't right and they ballin'. I don't give a fuck. No, I call up Osama, my Baba. Like, load up and come and rob Alden." Baba allegedly put in a lot of work and got locked up on an attempted murder. And Youngboy shouted him out again on I Hate Youngboy and raps, "Ain't got no fucking mind. Tell him free Baba. That's my evil twin. Young and bouncing on his tippy toes when he creeping in." Then in 2022, a video started going around where OG3 was pouring lean into Youngboy's mouth, and Sada Baby dissed him again over the situation. Youngboy never responded to Sada Baby again, and it looked like the beef cooled off. But Detroit still pulled the plug on Youngboy's show. A couple weeks after that, Youngboy performed at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. The show was sold out, and he was supposed to have another concert in the city a couple days later. But then the arena canceled that one too. Some fans thought the arena canceled it because Youngboy was dissing Atlanta rappers on stage. State Farm Arena allegedly didn't want Youngboy performing his I Hate Youngboy track because he dissed Gucci and rapped, "Used to fuck with Gucci till I seen him like them pussy niggas. Mama know I'm ruthless. Talking stupid make me bust a nigga." Youngboy dissed Lil Baby on the same track and raps, "Know I keep that 9 with me. You can act like that you don't know. Baby with him, 4 PF, 4 post firing. Want me to die? Tell that pussy, cross the line." Youngboy's beef with Gucci and Lil Baby never really popped off though, and nobody really knows why the second show in Atlanta got canceled. But even though Youngboy couldn't do a show, his fans threw a massive party in the streets, and the cops were all over the place. What made the situation in Atlanta even crazier is that during the first show, Youngboy was given the keys to the city. It looked like Atlanta was really rocking with Youngboy, but then the city put out a statement and said Youngboy wasn't actually given the key. The people who gave Youngboy the keys to Atlanta were representatives from Fulton County in the state, so they didn't actually have power to give Youngboy a key to Atlanta. And the last time a rapper was actually given the keys to the city was back in 2004 when Atlanta gave it to Ludacris because of the charity he started. But according to rumors, the real reason Youngboy's second show got canceled is because his crew got into a fight with security at the arena. Some sources claim that there was an issue at the VIP entrance, and Youngboy's crew started throwing hands with the security team, but there's no evidence to back the story up. Claim that there was an issue at the VIP entrance, and Youngboy's crew started throwing hands with the security team, but there's no evidence to back the story up. Youngboy's beefs in Chicago and Atlanta aren't anything compared to the smoke he has in Louisiana, though. And that's why New Orleans brought in a whole army of cops for his shows down there. New Orleans is only a couple hours away from Baton Rouge, and that's where Youngboy's oldest and deadliest beef started. Youngboy came up in the trenches and was rocking with a crew called TBG. TBG had rappers like G Money and Fredo Bang, but they were putting in work in the streets too, and were beefing with another crew called BBG. Youngboy had family ties to BBG because his cousin Boozilla repped him, and after Youngboy left TBG, he started rocking with Boozilla. Youngboy and G Money were sending shots back and forth in the studio, but what really turned the beef up is when Boozilla got shot and killed back in 2016. Rumors say that a crew called Forever Loyalty are the ones who pulled the trigger on Boozilla, and Forever Loyalty was tied with TBG. On the day that Boozilla got killed, Youngboy and his homies slid on the ops and shot at a couple of them, but the ops busted back and hit NBA Joe in the neck. Youngboy got booked for attempted murder, and TBG kept dissing while he was fighting the case. Then Youngboy came home and dissed G Money and TBG again when he dropped the track Ride on them and rapped, "I heard a nigga said what? You know what it is. Boy, you gonna get your head bust trying to stunt for real. These niggas making diss songs? Come on now, boy, be real. AI, Youngboy be the reason that your dog killed. I speak this shit. I live this shit. We do this shit for real." G Money kept dissing and said that Youngboy was just mad because G Money hooked up with Youngboy's sister.
He mad about his sister too, though.
About his sister?
Yeah, I had fucked her a long time ago.
G Money went live on IG to keep trolling Youngboy, but then a few hours later, he got killed in the exact same spot. Youngboy's homie NBA Lil Pap got booked for killing G Money, but rumors say Youngboy's manager Big Dump is the one who paid for the hit. And a few months after G Money died, TBG slid on Big Dump and left him dead in the street. Fredo Bang and Boulevard Quick were still sending shots at Youngboy, but then Boulevard Quick got shot and killed. After that, Boulevard Quick's homie Lit Yoshi fully crashed out and tried to kill Youngboy outside of his hotel in Miami. The beef cooled off for a while, and Fredo Bang even told DJ Vlad that he got on the phone with Youngboy.
Did the two of you get on the phone together?
We talked.
How did that talk go?
It was basically us talking, and like I say, it's never been a problem. Social media hype stuff up. I might say something in my song, he might say something in his song. And sometimes, you know, as artists, we might try to challenge each other. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you feel me? But it was more so of us. How can we show that it's never been a problem from the start? You know what I'm saying? Like, let them know it's never been a problem. We just don't talk to each other, and you know what I'm saying? We got history that we don't talk to each other, but it's never been a problem.
But it was clear the situation wasn't really squashed, because Youngboy dissed G Money again a few months later. The cops in Louisiana knew that Youngboy's drama in Baton Rouge could follow him to New Orleans, and they said Youngboy's ops were going to show up to the concert. So before Youngboy came into the city, they brought in 400 city cops, mounted officers, tactical units, an armored vehicle, and federal police too. After the first show in New Orleans, a video went viral where Youngboy was getting chased down the street and had to be pulled out of there by the cops. There was a report about a shooting inside the arena that night, and it looked like somebody really pulled up and tried to take Youngboy out, but the cops said the shooting was a false alarm. Fredo Bang wasn't at the show in New Orleans, but he posted about it and said it was beautiful to see the city and state come together, even though Youngboy was dissing them.
I love to see the whole city and state come together. You feel me? It was beautiful. Even though most of the shit they were singing, 9 times 10 was dissing me. It was really beautiful.
Looking at
A lot of fans think Fredo was trolling, but luckily the situation didn't pop off in New Orleans. Even though nothing bad happened at the shows, Youngboy's manager said that a cop named Ann Kirkpatrick is trying to ban Youngboy from ever performing in Louisiana again. The cops were also tripping in Miami when Youngboy had a show there because of his beef with Kodak Black. Kodak and Youngboy have been beefing on and off for years, but in July 2025, Yak sparked it up again when he said Youngboy's new album is trash.
I just heard the album that was shit. I don't even like it right now. And I like it. I see them more music. I like it more music. That shit ass.
Then Yak started dissing Youngboy because Youngboy allegedly hooked up with Yak's ex, Mellow Rax, and gave her herpes. Then on the night Youngboy showed up in Miami, Yak flew in on a helicopter, and a bunch of Yak fans partied outside of Youngboy's concert and started screaming Team Kodak. Kodak and Youngboy didn't run into each other in Miami, but it's clear that Yak still wants smoke with him. Youngboy dropped some of the craziest tracks in the rap game while he was locked down on house arrest and took shots at people all over the country.
And now that he's finally free, it's probably only a matter of time before someone really tries to get at him.
Alright, we back. So y'all see from that motherfucker, man, that like I said, man, I'm glad that YB is finally off of house arrest and he get to move around. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody want to be stuck in a dusty ass. I mean, that's a big ass fucking $100 million mansion probably. But nobody want to be stuck in no, you know what I'm saying? Can't do shit. So you know, that's how it goes. But it's gonna be beef. So you know, before that, YB was talking crazy on all other shit. So we know Indiana Choppa, man. Like I said, man, Indiana Choppa, he was a fanboy. He was probably one YB biggest fanboy. But hey, like I said, man, these niggas don't owe these niggas loyalty. If you didn't put a nigga on, if you didn't put a nigga in position to win, if you didn't do shit, but a nigga did support you because out of their kindness of their heart and they changed it up, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? There's no loyalty in these streets, to be honest. But you know, you just gotta keep it you. Yeah, like I said, man, they all got their own type of style. You never know why they doing this shit, make money on moves and attention. But hopefully there's some positivity in this shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you know what I'm saying? Lightens up. But like I said, man, this is a video. You know, it's live jumping behind it. So we just gonna keep on watching. Hope y'all enjoy it. And we out the bitch hood. You know what I'm saying? Big Crip in the game. That's our shit.
Hey, Dad, you know, dog, when we link up, dog, this shit be legendary. You know this instrumental, you the engineer on it, so Kodak everywhere.